Welcome to Silicon Valley Asian Business Talk.
This is Roger Chen from University of San Francisco Center for Business Studies and Innovation in Asia Pacific. Welcome to our interview program. First, we want to thank Geek House to host this interview. And this is a very unique venue where Facebook or Meta was founded several years ago. And in our today's interview, we want to welcome Brandon Wang from Synopsys. And Brandon, first, thank you very much. Would you please briefly introduce yourself?
Yes, I've been in Silicon Valley for more than 30 years, right? So I started with the designers. Currently, I'm in the corporate strategy group at Synopsys. I was very fortunate to caught the internet boom when Silicon Valley moving from silicon to internet. And later I was with a company called ARM. We make the technologies that enables the mobile era. So again, very fortunately, grow with the mobile and see the valley from silicons to internet to mobile applications. And in the last 6 years with Synopsys, I'm focused on the corporate strategy, look at how a company sets strategy and enables both organic and inorganic growth.
Thank you. And also, I remember correctly, you are the vice president from the CEO office of Synopsys, yes, right? And in charge of corporate strategy, which is great.
How large companies manage startup investments.
Now we talk about enough about large companies like Synopsys working with the startup community, right? And maybe one more thing about investment, because we didn't touch on the investment. Anything you want to say about your decisions to decide investing in certain startup company? What's the objectives and what's the process you work with a startup company when you go with the investment route?
As we're relatively new in terms of investment. Synopsys,
basically, when you say investment, we're talking about corporate venture capital, right?
Exactly. So we actually don't have CVC.
Oh, we don't have.
We don't. You know, we have decade-long acquisition, but investment here's kind of my view is that it's from a horizon point of view, investment is a longer time horizon. Right? So it's not about how you get it done this year. It's look at to say what are the longer term direction that you want. And I think each corporate, the different corporate have different, strategy. As CVC usually is being classified as the strategic investors. The reason is because not necessarily the financial return is the first priority for a corporate investment, right? So there are strategic values that you want to bring, but the corporate investment, whether you have a CVC or you invest out of balance sheets, that's okay. That's just a format, right? But the strategic part, the strategic value for a corporate investment is the common things across all the companies who've done that, even though the specific strategy are different for different companies, right? Some of them, let's say, given an example, if your investment is trying to build a broader ecosystem, that could be one key strategy for you to invest, right? And you're investing upstream, downstream, kind of left and right. Your investment could be simply discovery and learn. Right? Your investment could be an instrument for you to step into a new domain that your core business completely lack of understanding. Right? So that establish conversations for you to have an opportunity to talk to the expert in a new domain. In the early phase, maybe the company may decide to step into that new verticals or not. That's a decision to be made later. But at least you have to have some process of discovery and learning, and more importantly, to build up your capability of doing a DD when the opportunity comes to you, right? So you actually have your, I call it proper judgment.
Yeah.
And that's very important. I mean, even in the acquisition phases, you can create a model left and right, but you know that you can tweak the numbers. A lot of time it's about your judgment.
Yeah.
And it's very important to build that capacity so that your intuitive judgment can be accurate. I would say accurate, but at least to provide some foundations for you to move forward.
Yeah. That makes lots of sense. To give you the avenue to learn and to explore and discover. But I have more operational related questions. I would imagine actually, if let's say for Synopsys, somebody doing the investment, this person needs to have some background information, the domain, a relevant domain knowledge, right? But at the same time, you constantly explore new things. So, for example, in the investment scenario, is the relevant BU people participating in this investment activities and also engage with the invested startup company to learn the relevant field, or is the corporate innovation team handling the relationship with interaction learning with the startup company? How do you deal with that?
It's completely different. The two concepts is completely different organization. Corporate innovation program that actually my team owns, the CIP, is about innovation within the company. Right? It's about energize every single employee to think and create new ideas, from ideation to demonstration of things. It's just imagine that it's a program incubating new ideas. It's a program that it's like a Shark Tank, competing with ideas.
Right.
That's a kind of corporate innovation program.
Right. That's internal.
Different.
Right.
That's internal. It's quite different as investment, which is more external facing. Right. So. But to answer your investment questions, you always need to have a synergy, right, to really pull the deal. And that synergy could potentially come from the BU. And some BU would say, hey, I'm pondering right now if that piece of utility I should build myself, or I should bring a partner that has that capacity so we can work together. And so there's always a kind of BU synergy, right? The factor we look at it. Not as strong as acquisition.
Yeah.
Usually that you need to think about all the operation details, but still you'll find the synergy. But depending on the purpose of investment, sometimes it may not be that the internal stakeholders may not be a BU, because it could not be lead into let's say the startup company, we're not partnership for selling together. So it's less related to necessary revenue. It could be part of the stakeholder, could be any functions within Synopsys. So that's slightly different, because it's not always about talk about the top lines, and it could be. Let me give an example that we would partner with a startup to enable our IT function efficiencies. That you bring some
it makes sense.
Machine learning. So at that time, the stakeholder. No, that investment actually is our internal function, infrastructure function. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, the investment has a much broader synergy to consider, compared with the acquisition.
So the question, basically, my original question was, in that kind of a situation, do you let the relevant internal stakeholder to be the key kind of a person interacting with the startup company, or it is through, let's say, the whatever the departments that dealing with the startup companies to handle those interactions?
I think it will be case by case. We haven't done a lot of investment.
I see.
Yeah, I think that the key here is that usually you do have to, I've been sitting in the board observers to the company we invest, but more look at watch out the startups overall direction. And their health condition, I think kind of thing. But if you look at the ground level, operational level synergy, then you really need that function lead.
Yeah, because they're like inside.
So they can discuss much deeper, right? In that I would say cooperation.
Right.
So you actually need both.
Okay.
You need a sponsorship. You need a high level kind of guidance, but you also need a people in the ground level to really work on the cooperation side.
Okay. Yeah, because originally what I really meant, it was like, who handles this kind of interaction in the investment situation, whether it's corporate CVC people because they're dealing with the investment, or it was the relevant stakeholders.
It's actually both. If you look at the corporate CVCs, it already tells the story. It has to be both. What's corporate CVC? There's a small team we call the investment team. There's something larger team. It's called the landing pad. So these are the people. It's part of CVCs. They're working to bring how these startup companies work with the initials. So the structure of CVC already tell you it has to be both.
Yeah, that's true.
It's quite different as you running a regular VCs because you're very much focused on the financial return.
Right, that is true. Yeah, because corporate venture capital has to be strategic, meaning it has to connect to the different stakeholders.
Yeah, you need to answer the synergy question.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Thank you for watching.